Hello and welcome to RL Podcast, bringing you coverage of every league in English football. Hello and welcome to the RL Podcast. I'm joined today by my co-host as usual, Aaron. Cheers for joining me tonight, Aaron.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure chatting to you about football.
And we're joined by a special guest, an assistant manager in the National League, the top league in non-league football for viewers that don't really follow the pyramid. Wealdstone's assistant manager as well. Stuart, thanks for joining us tonight, Stu.
Not a problem, it's a pleasure.
So we're just going to go over to Aaron, who will start us with our first question.
Yeah, obviously, Stu, the biggest story now is about the funding for the National League. I just wondered what you thought of the situation of the government now saying it's going to be loans instead of grants, which obviously loads of clubs said that they were promised.
Obviously, from us as a management point, we don't get into what's promised and what's not promised. But obviously, when we got the grant last time, it helped the club out massively. And it was with the thing of fans coming back. And if fans come back, then the club could survive. With obviously fans not coming back now, a lot of clubs like ourselves, it'll be so tough to carry on without the funding. And the testing that you need to do with the COVID and stuff like that, it's just not financially possible, I'd say. Obviously, there's some big clubs in our division that obviously do have rich owners that can survive. But I'd say there's a lot of clubs that won't be able to. Obviously, they've suspended the North and the South now. I see that today for 2 weeks. So we'll just see what happens. I suppose it's a waiting game for all of us, really.
Do you think the National League should have been suspended as well for 2 weeks with it, Stu? Or are you quite happy to continue playing?
You just want to work in a safe environment for everyone, for your families. That's what's first and foremost. You just want to be safe. While you can work and be safe, you're happy to carry on. But I don't see a 2 week suspension at the minute will help. It's just going to backlog the fixtures even more so. So in 2 weeks' time, can they make that kind of decision? I don't know. You just try and focus on the football side, really. And at the minute, all you can do is go week to week. With it, you just don't know what's around the corner, especially with the pandemic and stuff. You just don't know what can go on. So we're just working week to week at the minute, and we'll see what happens.
Are your league regularly testing those, Stu?
Yeah, they are regularly testing. Obviously, with the likes of some clubs, if anyone gets any cases or symptoms, then they test.
Okay. So talking about a safe environment, so in the North and South, my understanding is they're not regularly tested. Is that why you think they've made that decision, because of the fact their players isn't regularly tested?
I don't know. It's a question really you have to speak to each individual club. I think each individual club will have a different thought process on it. I think that's the only way that you can look into it really, rather than the National League making the decision on whether it should carry on going ahead or whether they feel it's safe for all the clubs to or not. Because obviously in our league now, in the National League, probably 90%, if not more, are full-time. So there's only, I think, a handful of us are part-time, and the clubs that are part-time in our league now, they're looking to kind of merge to full-time now with Weymouth and Altrincham, we hear. So we're in kind of a full-time league, whereas the National League South, there's probably 2 or 3 clubs that are full-time, 3 maybe, and the rest are part-time. So they're all in different situations at these clubs.
Let's go on to the football now, Stu, and it's a question I was really looking forward to asking you. Now, I've known you from Billericay. I've always known you've been an assistant manager that likes to be up on his touchline and give instructions to the players for 90 minutes. But on the encouragement factor, do you feel like with Wealdstone, because you haven't got your fan base there, that you have to encourage players more?
I wouldn't say encourage players more. Obviously, the message is clearer getting on the pitch because there's no noise, and obviously, the Wealdstone fans, they're incredible. Like, we made the Vow a fortress last season, and we've missed them massively. They do help, which is sad, really. We get promoted, and all the hard work and the support from the fans last year, they don't get to see it at this level at this time. But yeah, I wouldn't say you get you get your message on, they can hear clearer. So I wouldn't say you need to get it on more, really.
Aaron?
Yeah, so obviously with there being no fans, obviously with the Premier League, we've seen that there's a record number of away wins already this season because you ain't got the home fans there. Have you noticed that in the National League as well?
No, not really. I think this season we've won 6 at home. So I wouldn't say so, really. I don't think it's really affected our levels as much. I think you're getting strange results, especially early in the season, and you're going to get mixed results. Like every time there's a self-isolation for 10 days, we struggled. When you have 10 days off, because we're part-time, all you can do is Zoom calls with the lads on workout. We've got a conditioning coach that does that for us. But that's all you can do. It's so hard. And then you come back, you get 3 days back, and then you're back playing again. So it's made it difficult in the sense of results in that sense, I would say.
Are you still
Okay,
able to...
do you think that's...
Sorry, Aaron, go on.
Yeah, I know. Do you think, obviously, you're sitting more towards the bottom of the table. Do you think that's down to the fact that it's an uncertain time and, as you say, every time you isolate, you sort of take a step back? Is that what's been your undoing this season?
We're really happy with the start that we've made. We've got 21 points from 16 games. We're really happy. We're a little bit disappointed in the amount of goals that we've conceded. But we've had our main centre-half out injured all season, Connor Stevens, and it's one of those positions and areas on the pitch that when you break the centre partnership up that we had last year with Akimo, our captain, and Connor Stevens, who has been out injured all season, it was a massive part of our success last year. We kept a lot of clean sheets. So we're happy with our start. Our aim before the season was to get to 50 points, and we're on target at the point ratio that we're going at the minute. Obviously, we had a good little run and we were up the top of the league. The league's so tight, you're 2 wins away from the playoffs, and like you say, we're probably 4 losses away from relegation. So we're happy where we're sitting at the minute.
Are you able to regularly train, Stu, during the national lockdown in the National League?
Yeah, elite clubs are, yeah. We've been training. Rayners Lane Football Club have allowed us to train. We did train at Harefield School, but obviously with schools being closed, the facility's been totally shut down. So it's been a massive help from Rayners Lane Football Club that have allowed us to train on their 3G pitch. It's helped massively. So we've been training as normal on a Tuesday and a Thursday night.
How do you find, obviously for a lot of people, they've had to stop their jobs, and how do you feel with football still going on during a pandemic? What's your feeling on that?
Like I said earlier, if you're working within a safe environment, there's people still out there working. I work for Openreach, and we're still out there working in a safe environment. So I think as long as it's safe for you to do so, then I feel it's okay. But look, at the end of the day, it's safety first for me. For your family and your friends and all that, it's much more important than football. Look, we all love football more than anything, and you miss it madly. And when it first come back round, you couldn't wait to watch it again. But we need to make sure that it's safety first.
Have you felt safe at every ground you've been at this year?
Yeah, we have done, to be fair. That all the clubs that we've been to, it's been set up really well. Like we've been in either bar areas with 2 metre distance between each player. They've done it really well. Been a credit to all the clubs, really. Everyone's really stuck to it and done it really well.
Aaron?
Is with the obviously keeping safe, is there a protocol in place where if you don't feel safe, you can make that known to the National League?
Yeah, I think any club can. I think you look at Havant this week in the stance that they've gone with it, with the amount of cases that they've had in their camp. I think every club, like I said at the start, has a different case and a different way of going forward with it. So I think each club will be different.
Okay.
Talking on the football street, you're 15th in the National League. At the start of the season, I suppose your ambition was to stay in the National League, consolidate and look more ambitiously next season. But how have you found the step up in the level of football? Is there a massive gulf between the National South and the National League?
When you first get promoted, everyone's saying there is a big gap. There is a big gap because of the full-time teams. But we've got a very fit squad, and they've bought into it. We've added a Monday evening in where they do core and condition and recovery on Mondays, which has helped massively. We have a young, hungry team that are fit anyway, so the fitness levels haven't determined too much. But teams research you more. They have scouts that come and watch you. That it's full time, so it is a big gap. Because we played Gloucester the other day in the trophy, and we won 3-1, and we noticed the difference between it, and they're at the top of their league, and we won 3-1, and we were fairly comfortable within the game. So when you play against teams like that are at the top of their league, there is a big gap in the levels. Yeah.
Is there a stage in the game where the full-time teams sort of start to be able to take their advantage because of the fitness, or haven't you really found that?
I'd say twice this year we've found it. We played Stockport at home, and after about 65 minutes, they were just relentless. They made 2 subs, and they're bringing on like for like. And they changed the game, changed their shape a little bit. And yeah, you could feel yourself getting a bit leggy because they were possession-based and talky with the other team. But, you know, they played really high tempo, and Gary Johnson's got them super fit. So they're doing it for 90 minutes, but we competed in both games. You know, we've been very competitive in the league. We probably warranted a few more points for the way that we've played in certain games. But, yeah, we feel we've been very competitive at the level. And there's more to come from the squad as well. We feel that, you know, we're growing into the league now.
Aaron?
Yeah, so obviously, how far would you say you are from being a full-time team? Because obviously, once you consolidate your place in the National League, you're going to want to look towards fighting for a promotion to obviously the Football League. Do you think you're far off, or?
Well, as a management team, you're always ambitious. You always want to kick on and compete and be up the top end of the league and compete for the players. But realistically, as a football club, when we come to the club, it wasn't in a financially great position last season. It's slowly but surely getting out of it. But with the pandemic and everything, it's not helped. So we're quite a way away from a full-time club. We've just got to find all the extra little 1%ers that we can do in the part-time world, like we've brought on Optima, who have been brilliant, where we've introduced Monday nights where we do core on condition and recovery. So we've had to add in things like that help us gain that little advantage. But yeah, we're a long way away from becoming a full-time football club.
On last season, Stu, with Wealdstone, when the season was put to a halt, was you one of them of going to points per game, or did you want to continue to play on if possible?
Yeah, we wanted to play on if we could. We were playing really well at the time. We were happy to play on. Obviously, we played that many games that obviously it was a fault that, you know, you were happy to do it on points per game. But we were top of the league for pretty much from the start of the season all the way through and stayed up there, which is hard to do with Havant breathing down our necks, and they chased us all the way, to be fair to them. But I think we warranted getting promotion, and points per game I think was fair in the end the way that they did it. Obviously the teams got to play in the playoffs as well. You know, Weymouth got promoted for it.
Step 3 to 4, that they decided to expunge the season. Do you think that bolstered the point for the National League South at the time to go to points per game, knowing none of their teams would be relegated because of that decision?
I think it makes it an easier decision for the National League North and South when you know that you haven't got to tell teams that they're going to get relegated on points per game, because you always believe that you can get out of it with 10. I think there was 10 games to go. So you always believe that you've got a chance of getting out of it. So I think it probably did make the decision a lot more easier.
Aaron, any more questions?
No, I think I've answered all mine.
Okay, thanks, Stu, for joining us tonight, and thanks, Aaron, for joining me for another RL podcast.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Reece. It's a pleasure.